Hi and a very good evening to you all. So now, as you can see in the title, the phone call I received from the topper's friend. Now, this particular lecture is not based on a particular phone call, one particular phone call. No, in fact, this is what I've experienced since the start of Dental Amaze Academy in 2019. I've been receiving lots of similar phone calls, which I can call it as the topper's friend. Okay, and they share their experiences, their problems. Okay, from which we can understand, we can have a comparison. Why? They will tell that, okay, I and my friend studied in the same institute, or I and my friend started together. We both of them, we followed the same book, the same method, but she got through or he got through. I even didn't come close. So it's based on actually multiple phone calls, but very recently as well, I got a call from a wonderful lady. Which provoked me the thought like, okay, why not make a video of this sort? Because this is something which most of the students doesn't know, and most of the people doesn't tell you this. Okay, they don't share this experience with you personally until and unless they really want to. Okay, like they're trapped and they want to come out of the trap, and they share this, especially with the academies. Okay, and so this is what I'm going to start with. Okay, now actually the title in fact is what no one tells you about MDS entrance preparation, which I'm going to share. So please watch till the end, because this is going to benefit those students who are writing the exam in the very recent, that is February, even those who are preparing for next year or anywhere in the future. If you're writing the exam, these things are very, very crucial. So in fact, in this very short period, I'm going to give you an experience of one complete year. So please watch till the end. So these are the things we are going to discuss today, the wrong perceptions of most people. Now, all these are based on the conversations with the topper's friends. Okay. Now, many of which are definitely right now doing their MDS from a government dental college. So now, the first thing, that is the wrong perceptions. The second is the 4 keys of entrance preparation, or I can call it as essence of entrance preparation. Okay, and very, very, very important, the traps. Okay, there are certain traps which many students fall into, most of the time in the name of entrance coaching. Okay, now many a times, very recently, this particular lady whom I talked with, she also shared 2 years of experience where she had the first one, definitely I can call it as I can't call it as a trap. It was actually the wrong perceptions, but the second one was a kind of a trap. Okay, now but in fact many students in fact fall into deeper traps. Okay, some get into the reputed coaching centers, and many times it's the wrong perceptions or the wrong guidance which takes them to the wrong direction. But a good majority of students in fact fall into the substandard coaching centers, which actually they even don't know what it really requires, what are the 4 principles, what are the key strategies or key essences of entrance preparation. I know people, trust me, as a person who's there in this particular sector since 4 years now, it's almost 5th year we're getting into. I know people who have not cracked NEET conducting MDS entrance coaching. They have not even cracked NEET. Okay, if at all they cracked, they have scored definitely a rank above 250 or 300 or even worse than that. So then, but if they're doing it in the right way, it's fine. I don't blame them. It's fine. But then, it should be in the right way, definitely. So let's start with the first one, which is the wrong perception. So I've included 4 very important wrong perceptions which you have to know one by one. Okay. Now, many students say that I saw that particular topic, but I didn't read it. Now, see, you go for the examination hall, you sit there, all of a sudden, I'll give you a typical example, the visual pathway. Just an example. Okay, many times students saw visual pathway question, related question in an exam. They come back, or even they sit on the examination hall. Oh my God, I saw this particular visual pathway in the book, but I didn't read through because I didn't know that this was important. And in fact, you will come across 20 to 30 questions which are a kind of bounces, at least 15 to 20 minimum. Now, if you think that bouncers have decided your rank, no, that is where what I've told you, the conversation, the phone call I've received from the topper's friend. In fact, the topper haven't done this visual pathway. The person who've called me also haven't done the visual pathway. Okay, means to say that it was not that bouncer which actually decided the rank. It was simpler questions. I'll come to that. Okay, so this is a wrong perception that people say that, oh my god, I saw that but I didn't. In fact, how many such areas might be there? There are areas which there can be bouncers. Now, visual pathway definitely, once a question is asked now, it has become a key area. But now there are lots of, remember the key rule, what is that? 80% of your questions come from 20% of your syllabus. Now, so that means to say there are 80% of your syllabus where the questions, the core areas doesn't fall under. Isn't it? So the moment you start focusing on that, what is going to happen? The time for you and the topper is going to be the same. Now you're focusing on, I've given a very typical example to some of the students. See, just an example, you have studied, like for example, you and your friend was a topper and both of them are studying the same thing. But in between what happened was you did a particular chapter, or I would say you started reading Karanza. Okay. Now this particular student shared me a very wonderful story of hers, very recent one. Her friend who got top 10 rank, I don't want to specify the rank because I don't want to specify the people, but top 10 rank, okay? And this friend who got top 10 rank got 30 negatives. And the friend who didn't come close scored 60 negatives. Now, I'll give you a scenario. So 30 negatives and 60 negatives. So this is top 10. This is, let's take it as top 2000, 3000 somewhere. Okay. Now, yeah, just take this example now. This topper, okay, she didn't do anything hi-fi. This particular person started reading Karansa thinking that I'll at least get, for example, started reading textbooks, okay, hi-fi textbooks. And imagine this particular student got 15 questions additional compared to this particular topper, 15 questions additional from the textbooks she have read. Okay, but now still, is it qualifying her to come close? No, this person has scored 30 negatives. This person scored 60 negatives. This is reality I'm talking about, real type scenario which has happened. 30 negative, 60 negative. Now this student, as I told you, read lots of textbooks and imagine, this is impossible in fact, but imagine still this person has got 15 new questions which he attempted in the exam, but still her negatives are much higher, which makes her even not coming closer. So even if you get a 15 questions, the number of negatives you make in 6 simple questions actually decides your rank. So this one, I saw it because now definitely this particular friend also saw the visual pathway. This particular student also saw visual pathway. Now imagine both of them didn't read it. It's fine. It's not the visual pathway which made the difference. What made the difference? The number of negatives. The number of negatives means simple areas. Simple areas. Okay, please understand that. Now, if you come to the next part, some students say that I didn't do this. Same thing. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. But my friend might have done that. This. Okay. In fact, that's also not true. Again, even if you do lots of extra things, the same scenario applies. What if you're getting 15 questions, 20 questions more, but still the number of negatives you've gone wrong will not compensate for what you have missed out. Okay, so that's very, very important. Now please understand one more thing, that though I've said you that 15 questions more this particular student I've got, it's most unlikely. You get 3-4 questions. The biggest problem is your number of revisions come down so drastically that you make more mistakes for the cost of 4 or 5 questions extra you might get. Okay, this is another thing happens with many students who join for test series throughout the entire India academies. Okay, thinking that I'll get more questions. Now that's wrong perception again. I've said this already in one of my lectures. Now what the next thing is, okay, I'll just close these windows. Okay, I wish I would have read textbooks. because my friend or a topper reads textbook. In fact, no. Okay, most of the toppers read textbooks very limited, especially if they are guided. Now, their self-preparation, they're lucky enough, yeah, many a times you say, but most of the time in the current scenario where the guidance is to the point, the guidance is, it's literally spoon feeding, it's hardly you get time to read textbooks. Okay, you don't need, in fact. Now, the next thing, the truth is, what's the truth? Simple questions matter. Okay, I've given the example many a times. Just imagine 300 students writing the exam, of which one is you. 300 students writing the exam, one is you. All of them were given 100 easy questions. 100 easy questions. All of you. And 300 students on one side got all the 100 questions correct, hypothetically. And you got one question wrong. Means you got 99 correct, and those people, all the 300 students on this side got 100 correct. What's going to be your rank? 301. This is what happens. You go wrong in simple questions, your rank jumps. That's what I'm saying. The negatives, the 30-60 negatives actually decides. Because the difficult question, imagine you got 10-15 bounces from current. In fact, that will not be a deciding factor. The more deciding factor will be this particular section. Okay. Now, definitely there are more variables deciding these facts, but I've just given you a general understanding so that you don't make this mistake. Definitely, imagine if it's possible to get 15 questions reading textbooks in real scenario, then definitely it's beneficial. But most of the time it doesn't happen. People end up in 4 or 5 new questions, but 60-70 negatives. Okay, compared to the friend who was a topper. So that's the wrong way to go for it. Now, then the 4 keys of entrance preparation. Now see, you join Dental Amazing Academy, you join any other academy, anywhere in the world. Okay, 4 things you have to be very, very clear about. Okay, tomorrow you join Dental Amazing Academy also, you can ask these questions. Okay, now what are lectures or notes are for? What is the purpose of lectures and notes? People have a wrong perception that I read and we have students, when we ask them, did you solve questions? No, sir, I'll do it in the end. I'm doing all my lectures now. Now, this is the wrong perception. Basically, the purpose of lectures and notes is that your concepts, you are not going to get all the questions. Imagine you learn 20 subjects, lectures and notes and everything you have done. Still, you go and sit in the examination hall, you will not be able to get the time enough to solve 240 questions in 180 minutes. One. Second is that you make a lot of mistakes. So basically the purpose is the learn concepts. Okay, the purpose of lectures or notes is to learn concepts. Basically lectures majorly teach you the concept. Definitely notes are going to reinforce and give you more understanding. Okay, more points I would say. Now if you go, the second key area is MCQ books like Dental Pulse, like Neeraj Wadhwan, like Dentist, like anything, Sparsh Gupta or across, anywhere. And even the academy question banks, including the Dental Amazing Academy question banks. Now, the purpose of that is what? Helping you to apply the concepts. Okay, you have learned the concept on one side, you have to apply it, and you have to, you have to keep applying them till your brain become very sharp. It's very, very important. People don't realize this. Now, the third thing is test papers. Now, what is the purpose of test papers? To learn from your mistakes. So, it's not, people have a very long perception. If I attempt more test paper, I'll get more questions. We see students when we give the mock exams in the academy or any test papers in the academy, people, start, submit, got the question. It's a wrong perception. It's a wrong methodology. Even we have made these mistakes in our first attempts. Then we realized, okay, this is not the reality. This is not what you have to be doing. Okay, so the test papers is to learn from your mistakes. The more you learn from the mistakes, your number of negatives come down. That's what is the purpose. Okay, please note that. Then, what's next? Guidance. Now, people don't realize the importance of this. Now, see, you got your lectures and notes, you got your MCQs, everything, you got your test papers, but now there is no guidance. Then, what's the purpose of guidance here? To complete all these things, test papers, notes, lectures, dental pulse, everything in that available time. For example, in 12 months, 15 months, There should be proper guidance. Each and every subject there should be guidance. Now, to know what to do and to know what not to do, this is the biggest thing people overdo most of the time. So you should not do that, you should do this. There should be someone telling you from their experiences. Okay, to know what to expect. Now, you come across lots of problems, lots of stressful situations. So you have to be aware that what is to be expected. This is normal at this phase, this is normal at this phase. You do your dental pulse once, you forget everything. You do your pharmacology, your first round, you forget this much. So how to retain it, so all those things comes under guidance. So mainly to complete your entire syllabus in the time and start your revision, apply your principles of revision properly, you need to have guidance. Okay, now finally the biggest thing, that is the traps people fall into. There are 6 traps. Majorly, I would say coaching center traps. I'll tell you on that. Now basically once upon a time a student told me that particular academy gave my friend 4,000 pages of notes. How many pages is your notes? So my question is, who will do your dental pulse? Now at that time when the student asked, there was I think 2 or 3 volumes of pulse. Now it's 4 volumes. So who is going to do your dental pulse? The biggest thing you have to understand, dear students, please understand this. Your dental pulse is the biggest notes you have. Unless and until your other notes is less than 500 pages, I would say. It should be less than. Your academy notes should be less than 500 pages and not more than that. Definitely, we give you detailed notes, PDF notes, but I always tell you, write down the lecture notes, because definitely your PDF notes at the end of the year is not going to help you like your handwritten notes is going to help you, because you write it, you see it, you listen to it, you revise it, your own handwriting. Okay, so basically don't fall into the trap saying that, now see, you get, when I started my preparation, trust me, during my internship, which was my first attempt, okay, where it was not very good, but then I didn't know this. I ordered for a set of notes. I was standing on the table and it was almost of the same height. Sorry, I was standing on the floor and the books were on the table. It was of my height. That much it is. Who's going to learn that? 1. Please understand the second very important thing. Notes will never teach you the concepts. Okay, notes are never going to teach you the concept. The moment notes starts teaching you the concept, you can compare it to a textbook. It's a textbook, it's not notes. Notes should be very precise. The moment it becomes precise, it's not going to talk about the concepts. So unless you don't have proper lectures to guide you with, then the notes are not very effective. Please understand that. Okay. Now the second trap most students fall into is information is more important than concept. Some people tell you this. They give you 2 hours of lecture with lots of information. Simple terms, take the textbook, key points entirely in the textbook being presented in a PowerPoint. And they never teach you the concept. Now that's a big problem, because now see, there are 3 types of lectures. When it comes to your entrance preparation, you can find more types, but when it comes to your entrance preparation, there are 3 types of lecture, you can call it. One is those lectures which simply teach you only concepts, which will be very short, very short. Now second group give you lots of information but never going to teach you concept. You have to sit the entire day and mug it up. Okay, whole day goes. Though the lecture is 2 hours, to learn that you will take 6 more hours. Okay. The third is teach you concept as well as give you the relevant points, key extra information, which is very precise for your entrance preparation. Now why is that important? See, you watch 1 hour lecture. The moment you finish the lecture, it should take just 20 more minutes to just brush it up and learn it. That means 1 hour lecture should be learned in 1.5 hours in total. Okay, definitely taking out the notes helps you in a better way. So it's very important now. In simple terms, imagine fractures. If you ask me to take lectures on fractures, I can take it for 4 hours, 5 hours, including the entire Fonseca. Okay, and even in your biology and every standard textbook, you can take and just teach you. But now that much amount of information isn't required for you. The moment you get that much amount of information in all subjects, you will never get time to revise, nor you will get time to solve questions. You will be simply in the trap of learning more and more lectures, which is in fact not required, trust me. Okay, now you come to the next. No one talks about guidance. No one talks about guidance. Once I was visiting a college and I met a student there, and in that same particular college we have one of our toppers studying, doing her MDS there. So this particular lady met me, and as well as the other one who joined some other academy, and she just came to me and asked like, my academy is saying that they have given all the portions, okay, in one place, and they have asked me to learn by myself. So initially I felt it very comfortable, but now I don't have any guidance on what to be done. Now if you're a BDS student, if you're in your third year, final year, fine. Okay, because definitely you have got your theory exam, you are preparing for NEET, it's good to have concepts. But now you have 1 year in front of you, the next year, the first attempt you have to get through, you're aiming to get through there in the first attempt, you should have guidance. Without guidance, it doesn't work out. Okay, now if you go to the next part, you can do whatever you want at your comfort. Now this is a part of the previous one. Like people give you a lot of content and say that no need of any schedule, no need of anything. You just do at your comfort. You say, wow, I can do my own way. Now please understand that you should have a plan. Okay, you should have a plan. I'll come to this again in the next one. Okay, which is okay. Before that, I will read the textbooks first. Now please note one thing. You get 2 weeks. If you just calculate 12 months, 10 months, 20 subjects. If you just divide them, you'll get 2 weeks per subject, hardly. Okay, 2 weeks per subject. In between this, you have to do multiple revisions. You have to cover extensive areas, everything. The moment they say you that do at your own comfort, the problem is that some subjects you take 1 month. Some subjects you take 3 weeks. For you to finish this very effectively in 2 weeks, you have to have guidance. One. Now, the moment you start reading textbooks, again the other problem comes. As I've told, you get 2 weeks per subject. So how much textbooks can you read? That has to be very problematic. Now, definitely some will debate with me. My friend who did entrance examination, who topped 3 years back, 4 years back, 5 years back, 10 years back, they read textbooks. They said they read textbooks. Yeah, at that time, dental pulse volume was only 2. 1. Second, there was no guidance provided by hardly there was 1 or 2 academies. Okay, people didn't know also. So most 90% students were self-preparing. Now the thing is that literally each and every student is spoon-fed. As I've told you. Now you don't need to read textbooks. A real-time example I'll give you. Those who know the current advances in dentistry, they understand this better. So before, what we used to do to give the patient a crown, you have to prepare the tooth. Okay, then you have to take the impression. You have to send it to lab. Okay, the lab people then pour the cast. They create the dye and lots of procedures. Then they prepare their the crown, they trim it, all those things happen, they send it here, then the fit is not correct. It's a very long process. Now what you have? You have digital scanners, no need of impression, patient sitting there. Okay, you prepare the two digital scanners. Okay, and then next step is what? This scan is sent to the CAT cam. CAT cam prepares the crown, right then and there, half an hour. The crown is ready, final polishing, dim, gone. Patient gone. So now imagine one clinic is on this side which is doing all this process, and on the other side there is another person who is saying that I will send my works to this particular lab 500 kilometers away. Now what is going to be the situation? So please, this is what the reality is. You have to know the reality. I'm not saying that self-preparation will not work, but then there is definitely there is an amount of risk involved, okay, in that. Okay, but definitely at this stage, those who are writing web exam, don't fall into the trap of coaching centers. Right now, there is no time. Do whatever I have put a lecture, okay, how to plan your next 2 months, so do that, okay. But for those people who are preparing for next year, definitely keep this in mind. Okay, now Dental Pulse is not enough. People, now Dental Pulse is an amazing book, no doubt. And the entire India who is writing the exam, 30,000 students do this. And this is where my thing which I've told, this particular thing, I think the 300, yeah, 300 students writing the exam. This major scenario comes from there, because anything repeat from Dental Pulse, no one is going to miss out. So your rank is going to jump up. But now the thing is that Dental Pulse doesn't teach you the concept. It's some random questions out there. Okay. But yeah, so this is another trap people fall into. Their seniors tell you Dental Pulse is enough. Dental Pulse is enough. No doubt. Okay, but the problem is that have you understood the concepts in Dental Pulse? Because the moment you understand the concepts in Dental Pulse and you learn the Dental Pulse, you master the Dental Pulse, you go for the exam, come back, you realize, oh wow, the questions were entirely from Dental Pulse. But then, how much effort you have put to understand the concept, they will not tell you. They will tell you Dental Pulse is enough. But now the thing is that you start Dental Pulse, you learn Dental Pulse 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. It's not working. Okay, so please understand this trap as well. Okay, so these were some very important key understandings of things. Now, if you want me to take lecture on any particular topic, please comment it below this particular video, especially those who are watching it on YouTube. Please comment it under this video. On the app, also the students who are watching on the app, you also have the option to comment it under the video. Do comment it. I'll look into that, and definitely if it's worth it, definitely I'll be taking a video on that. Okay, so that's it for today. Have a great day ahead and take care.